After seeing less than 30 seconds of a CGI'd, long-haired Nicolas Cage Superman looking like a Greek god
Oh no, he's hot!
fighting the infamous Thanagarian snare beast, also known as a metal spider, I was completely sold on this more outlandish version of Superman. Something initially I thought was just too bizarre and off the wall to ever work. But the last script written by Dan Gilroy, which was the one going to be used for Superman Lives, I don't know, the timeline gets a little confusing with this movie, is actually a really solid story. You can find some pretty great fan-made audio dramatizations of the script on YouTube, and I highly recommend checking out the Death of Superman Lives documentary by the late and great John Schnepp. It covers everything you need to know about this movie. It went through quite a few script rewrites, including one by Kevin Smith. He has some great and hilarious stories about the process of working on it. I always thought this version of Superman had a really cool aesthetic. I just really dig the 90s look of Superman with the long hair in general, which Nicolas Cage had for the movie. Superman Lives definitely would have been a little more on the darker side. Clark was a bit of a loner and quite insecure with himself in the story, questioning what he truly is, as he has no Jor-El guiding him. The film would have been loosely based on the Death of Superman storyline, but also featured Lex Luthor, who merges with a spider-like Brainiac to become one being called Lexiac, who has the perfect plot to kill Superman and also destroy the Earth with nuclear weaponry. Lexiac creates Doomsday, who succeeds in killing Superman, but a mysterious Kryptonian entity helps revive Kal-El and gives him his powers back through his suit. We learn that this Kryptonian entity called K is actually the remaining life essence of his parents. They help Superman defeat Lexiac to prevent him from destroying the Earth. There's a lot more to this story, so if you want more than a basic rundown, go check it out on the wiki or something. There was something really different and unique to this story, especially for its scheduled release of 1998. The concept art is truly amazing. I'm not sure how well they could have made it all work in the 90s, but honestly, the Superman suits and the effects of flight were already looking pretty top notch. So I have a feeling it would have turned out pretty special. Unfortunately, we never got to find out, and we are left to our imagination. Maybe it's better to just visualize these things for ourselves, but one can't help but wonder what could have been with Tim Burton's Superman Lives. Now, is there any way that WB or DC Comics would revive this story? Superman Lives does have a lot of elements from the Death of Superman storyline, which has been ironically done to death recently. But Superman Lives also has some differences in the way Clark Kent is portrayed. And the visualization of Tim Burton with Nicolas Cage as Superman is just such a bizarre combination for a Superman film. How could you not be interested in this? Now, I think maybe too much time has passed for this to really ever happen in live action, but we did just see a 70-year-old Michael Keaton crush it as Batman. So maybe a 60-year-old Nicolas Cage as Superman isn't too far-fetched? No, it probably is. But could Burton and Cage possibly do something with this film in animated form? I think it would honestly work really well for animation. DC has done wonders with animated films. Lately, they have just been adapting established comic book storylines. So what if they tried to do more original ideas? Into the Spider-Verse is being praised as one of the best superhero films of all time. I think DC should definitely consider putting a budget behind some of their animated films. And honestly, this one could be huge. Nicolas Cage is a huge Superman fan, and I think if him and Burton could do what they want with the story, they would be all for it. Or maybe Tim Burton could be just too jaded from past experiences with DC, which I could understand as well. But DC should definitely call them up and try and make it happen anyways. If nothing else, at least some of us got a wish fulfillment of seeing Superman Lives realized on the big screen, even if it was only less than a minute long. So I give props to the Flash director Andy Muschietti for including it. And hopefully Nicolas Cage loved what he saw as well. Anyways, I'm curious how you guys feel about possibly trying to revive Superman Lives. Do you think the cameo was enough to satisfy your curiosity, or do you think a live action or animated film would be something amazing? Or is it just best left to the imagination? Let me know down below.